You got a friend in me.
Oh my god! Oh please! Oh my god!
Hello my friends, welcome back to Player Display. So today I have two very tiny but very exciting entries from the NECA catalog. Once again, we have the Puppet Master Jester and Six Shooter. So we've seen some Puppet Master figures from NECA before, and pretty much what they're opting to do, because these figures are so small, is release two at a time, so they're basically 2-packs. And this time around, third go around rather, we have Six Shooter and Jester, who were very highly requested, and finally we have them here. Doesn't quite complete the whole gang of puppets that we're wanting just yet. For now, we are now up to 6, and these two entries do not disappoint. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the box. Packaging is just about the same as all the other entries that we've gotten in the Puppet Master line, but of course in this case it has some decos which are specifically for Six Shooter and Jester over here. So we have Puppet Master, the classic quote, "Evil comes in all sizes," Ultimate Six Shooter and Jester. Flipping it around to the side, we have that Andre Toulon's chest of puppets sort of look going on over there on the left. On the right, we just have Puppet Master. Off to the back, we have a few different shots of the figures with their various accessories and props, which are many. We will talk about those soon. Go ahead and peel open this little chest, and we have the little display windows for each of the figures. We have this very big one over here on the left with the comedy and tragedy masks for Six Shooter. And on the right, we have two different windows here for Jester. Speaking of Jester, let's go ahead and start with him, because obviously he is the smaller of the two, so there's a little bit less to talk about, but that being said, I think he's a very well-executed figure. Not quite as advertised when it comes to the head sculpt and having the 3 different sections like swivel off in different directions. That would have been really sick, even though that would have been difficult to do. But all that being said, he is really a beautiful little figure. One thing I'll mention right off the bat is he does come with this very cute little hat, which I like a lot, but it tends to fall off quite a bit, so you might need a little bit of tack for that. So for now, I'm just going to put that off to the side, then we can just focus on this initial head sculpt over here. Elephant in the room, I got this in stores, not online, so I was able to check for paint apps. And one thing I noticed straight away is there's a little error here with that eyebrow. So I'm going to try and correct that either by scratching it off or getting some paint, something like that. Then again, he's got 2 other heads to work with, so I might just wind up using one of those instead. But that being said, if you ignore that little paint slop, this is a very good head sculpt. I really like the sharp cheek details, the chin, and everything here. It feels like it's made of wood, as he should. Didn't mean to rhyme, but it just seemed like the right time. Sorry, I'll try not to do dad jokes for the rest of this video. But yeah, it looks like they got all the shapes and colors right. You got the blue eyeballs, some nice lips, some good looking teeth. You also have this almost balding looking hair going around. And yeah, what else is there to be said? He looks like a puppet. As I said before, you cannot swivel the individual pieces of either of the 3 head sculpts. That would have been really nice to do, so when he gets all disoriented or something, or he spins around a little too much, you get his jaw off to the left, his nose off to the right, his forehead's maybe center or also off to the left. But so that's a little unfortunate. Would have been nice if they had some other head sculpts for this character, but the other 2 ones you get are complementary. They supplement this figure very well, so that's alright. Going down to the outfit, it is very beautifully done. Very court jester-ish, as it should be. We have some dark red, have a little tragedy mask at the belt, which I've never noticed until I got my hands on this figure. That is really beautiful. I'll have to look out for that in the films. Down to the sleeves, we have a little bit of, I wouldn't call it plaid, but almost this checkerboard design. You got some gold outlines, some purple diamonds, and some black diamonds. Some ruffles over here at the wrists, looking like they're a silver gold, something like that. And we also have 2 hand options. He has multiple hands, but we have what looks like a trigger hand over here on the right, and then a standard open one here, or relax, or partial gripping on the left, and those are his default hands that he naturally comes with. Down at the waist, we have 3 little corners here with, I guess, little bells at the ends, some black pants, down to some very pretty gold shoes. And as good as these look, I feel like the paint is a little bit overdone. You can see there is some paint rubbing right here at the joint. Would have been nice if they molded that joint piece in just like a standard marbled gold or something like that. That way, when the paint does rub off, then at least it still looks gold. Then you don't get that black little chip in there. So that doesn't bug me too much, but that's something that you might want to be aware of. And another thing is the paint is so heavy that it does stop the joints on one of these figures. So we're going to talk about rockers a little bit early, which I know is unconventional for us, but you can see on this one, it's a little bit sticky. It kind of bends back to where it was before. Whereas on this one, it's okay, and it can go a lot further. So that is a little disadvantage. The paint's a little heavy on the feet, but as for the rest of the figure, it seems like it's all fine. Off to the back, same basic details, no other real surprises. I mean, it's the back of the figure, no one really cares that much, but yeah, that's Jester in a nutshell. Now let's talk about his many accessories. Let's start off with his two alternate head sculpts, which I both actually prefer over the one that he came with in box. I mean, paint apps aside, but they're done both to the same quality and caliber in terms of sculpt work and everything. A little bit of a paint dab over here, but yeah, we have one sad frowny face and one shocked surprise face. I'm pretty sure this one's my favorite and will be the one I will be displaying with him because, as we know, Jester, he doesn't do a whole lot of the dirty work that the rest of the puppets do. He more just sits there, emotes, and reacts to what's going on. So I feel like this one's a little bit more emblematic of his character. But that being said, both of them are very beautifully done. You can also notice here there is a little bit of airbrushing going on around the eyes. I think that's very prettily done. Prettily. I'm making up words today. When don't I make up words in these reviews? Went to that side already. Here we are at the back. I don't know what those little holes are in the back of the neck. That must be for like the strings when he's being used as a marionette. I'm really not totally sure. And off to this side, and yeah, there we go. There are your head sculpts. We also have two alternate gripping hands, which are identical just for the lefty and righty respectively, and they're looking very nice. And those are, of course, for his two weapons. So firstly, I don't know what you'd call this, but it's like a three-pronged comedy emblemed weapon over here with a little tragedy on the back as well. So this is a very good traditional looking Jester weapon. I don't remember when he used this exactly in the films. It might be in reference to the 90s and 2000s figures that Full Moon produced way back when. I actually have a few of those, but yeah, it's still a really neat looking weapon. I'm not sure if he'll be using this one or the meat tenderizer, which we got over here. And this is actually a little bit on the sharp side, so do be a tad careful about that. It's just a very crisp sculpt, so be wary. Actually, it's had some trouble taking it out of the plastic because the silver was kind of scraping against the bubble, so it actually had a rough time coming out of there, but yeah, I took it out. It's pretty sturdy. The handle here is a really solid material. Everything's well painted, and yeah, looks very good. Not much else to say here. Oh, I almost missed this last one over here because I had all the accessories that we're talking about in a little tin, and this one got buried in all the 6-shooter accessories, but Jester also comes with this little scalpel. Just done in silver, it would fit in either of the gripping hands, no problem, so if you wanted to have a little bit of a medical record going on, then you can use this as well. So he has 3 weapons, my apologies for that. I haven't actually done any part swaps at all with either of these two figures specifically so we can do this on camera, so let's try removing this head over here. Alright, not too bad. And then we can grab, I really want the surprised head sculpt, so let's go with that one. The neck is a nice dumbbell joint, so you kind of need to dance with it a little bit as it goes in. And it seems like it's on. No real click, which I prefer, but that's all right. And I really love that a lot. I think when he has this look on his face, he's not wearing the hat, but I assume that, yeah, it would be compatible with the rest of the head sculpt. So you can get him surprised and hatted as well. As for his accessories, we have these 2 hands to swap out firstly. So let's see what it's like popping these out. They're really small, so they freak me out a little bit, but again, I'm going to trust NECA. They've been doing very well lately. So here's his hand, which actually hinges up and down, which you don't see too often. And let's go ahead and grab a gripping hand right over here. We probably just need the one, and then we'll give him the meat tenderizer, which doesn't match the face that he's working with right now, but anyhow, we can use this partial gripping hand over here. That's probably the hand he'll keep. I don't think he even needs this extra gripping hand on the left, unless you prefer him to be lefty. But you really just need one solid gripping hand, and this one can kind of just do the rest of the work on the other side. But yeah, looks fantastic. He's looking a little reluctant to whack someone out. Yeah, this guy is a lot of fun, especially since he's one of the most emotive of all the characters. Here we are with the mopey, sad head over here as we go into the articulation segment. So, as we said, there is a double joint in the neck, so not far down, pretty good back. We should also have some tilt in there. You can see he kind of clicks up a little bit, so he goes way far. Also going to help with that emotion a little bit. Also do 360 swivel, as he should. It doesn't spin as fast as it does in the movies, but still pretty solid. As for arms, come out to about 90. Double joints, which is amazing that they can even accomplish that at this scale, and they look really beautiful. I love how curvy it looks. It's not like a hard corner or anything, but that's more natural to the puppet aesthetic, I suppose. As we go on to the hands, there is a swivel on all of them, and all of them except for that one trigger hand. I don't know why he even has this. This one goes up and down, but all the rest go in and out. There it goes. I've never removed that joint, so a little stiff, but now it's fine. Ball joint over here where the upper tunic meets the lower tunic. Do some tilty. Either way, pretty much. Does a swivel, no problem. As for legs, they kick forward to about 90 and back. Knees go that far up and then come back in. As for the ankles, I don't know if there's a swivel. There is a swivel, okay. And we talked about the ankle a little bit, but we got very far amount down, very far amount up, so that's really impressive. And then he does have rocker. But as we discussed, it's a little bit stiff on this one, not sure why. If you get a copy of this figure and you're experiencing the same issues, then let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious about the QC across these various Jester figures. But all that being said, he might be one of my favorites of the 6. I just love the different head sculpts that he has, how emotive he is. He's a delight. He's fantastic. Now let's move on to the largest and most intimidating of the 6 puppets, being 6-Shooter. And when I say intimidating, it's not because of his stature necessarily, but because he's very small and he has a trillion joints going on in there. So the QC was frightening me a little bit, but I played around with him and everything seems to be moving fine, everything's sturdy, and he can stand up on top of that. So I guess we're okay, but we'll go through this figure and just be sure everything is up to shape. But anyhow, let's start up here with the head sculpt and the hat, and once again, very well crafted. Looks exactly as it did in the films when he first made his debut in Puppet Master 3 Toulon's Revenge, which is my personal favorite. Let me know what your favorite is in the comments. The hat is also removable. Here we are, and the hat confuses me a little bit just because I'm not totally sure where it's meant to be facing forward. I guess it doesn't matter much, but you can see there's a little bit of this mold impression in there. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Then again, there's also an arrow, so yeah, that's just where I found the sweet spot to be. I guess when you look at that arrow, have it pointing towards the back of the head, and then slot the hat on, and then that's where it should hit sweet spot. Right there, yeah. Because if you place that at any other angle, for some reason, it doesn't fit on as well. But yeah, to have the arrow facing the back, you should have no trouble. But let's remove that for now, so that way the light can shine down on his head, and we can check out the details. He has his little mustache, he's got the eyes, eyebrows, also seems to be more on the balding side, kind of like Jester. As for teeth, also very beautifully done, really excellent grill, with a little gold tooth over there, although the gold paint kind of bleeds over to one of the white teeth, which not a huge deal from a distance. I mean, there's so many other things to look at on this figure. And in fact, if you don't like that paint slop, then you can totally hide it with the bandana that he has. So it fits around his neck, but you can also shuffle it upwards over the face when he is in shooting mode, and you simply just push it upwards towards front and a little bit towards the back, so it goes over his nose and it stays on pretty well. It doesn't really drape down as nicely as I would prefer, but yeah, it still looks really good. Also, the painted in details are not sloppy at all. They look pretty sharp to me, so very pleased with that. Let's keep it up there as we look down here on the torso. He's got himself a brown leather waistcoat with some golden buttons and golden buckle. And over to the arms, we have, well, 6 of them, hence his name. We got some white sleeves, black gloves, each hand with 4 digits. And we also have 6 holsters branching all over this figure. So we got 2 in the front hanging from the waistcoat, got 2 at the belt, also with the same brown and gold paint apps, and then we have 2 at his behind with a whole bunch of ammunition. One thing I'd really love to see in a modern Puppet Master movie is him reloading his guns. Imagine how long and tedious of a process that would be. But novelties aside, going back down to the waist, we have some purple blue jeans, looking very good. And we also have some cowboy boots with these little prongs on the end. I know there's a technical name for them, but I didn't grow up on the West, so I don't know what they're called, unfortunately. But yeah, he's really a fantastic figure. And if we want to pan out, we'll do this right now. We'll test him out standing up. And at least in a vanilla pose, I did manage to get him there. So you can see right there. Oh, there's Jester's head right there. But yeah, pushing on in. As you can see, he's not leaning or anything. He's standing up just fine. So we're going to go ahead, after we look at accessories, and try articulating him and see if he can still stand up just as well. I'm really not sure, because that's one complaint I've had for all of these figures, is why didn't they think of a way to give him a figure stand or anything like that? Especially since they have no peg holes on the bottom of the feet because they're so small. So it's really important that they are able to stand on their own. As for this guy, he's, again, very intimidating, so we'll just see how he holds up as we go through all his various accessories. So I just laid out all of his accessories in 3 nice little organized piles just to give you a sheer idea of how many things that he comes with. It's really just 3 accessories, but 6 copies of that accessory. So over here we have 6 gripping hands, of course 3 for the left and 3 for the right. Let me go ahead and get a proper lefty over here. And I suppose you could use these so you could hold any of Jester's accessories. He also comes with 6 trigger fingers, as he should. The ones that he has default are just wide open, but these are the ones that you want if he's going to be 6 wielding, not dual wielding, of course. And again, 3 for the left, 3 for the right. And then we have 6 identical 6-shooters over here. Very beautifully done with the paint. I like the silver and then the ivory looking grips down there. It's looking really sharp. So let's just hop right into modifying this figure and seeing what we can do with him. So let's start by taking a few of these guns and putting them in his holsters, just seeing how that lines up. I'm probably going to have him wielding these guns at all times, but in terms of getting them into the holsters, it doesn't seem like it's too difficult. So there's one towards waistcoat, there's one at the belt, and then there's one, that's a hand, oops. Here's one at the back. So yeah, looks like they all fit in pretty well. Nothing seems to be dropping out or anything. So yeah, friction is on our side. And I'm not going to change out every single hand on camera, but let's do at least one and get it in the trigger configuration, of course. So let's use this upper right one over here. Port that off with a little bit of caution. Be sure that it's a proper righty, and then slot that on. A little tight. That's okay, because I probably will never change these out. And I'm really curious about how tight these grips will be, because I don't want the guns falling out. It seems pretty sturdy, so we got the gun in there. Very important that you get that index finger through the little finger guard, so be sure you get it there. And once you reach that point, and then the whole rest of the grip is within the palm of his hand, it holds in very nicely. It's not shaking out, it's not wobbling or teetering side to side or anything. It seems pretty solid. And then we can have him aiming to the side or wherever. It doesn't really matter where he aims if he has 6 guns. But yeah, I'll take the hat, pop that back on. Looking great. So let me just go quickly port on all 6 hands and guns, and we'll see what he looks like in full form. Alright, so I was setting this guy up, and one thing I did want to mention, this did happen previously, but his leg fell off. So if this happens to you, don't worry too much. It's simply a ball joint. All you need to do is just reach right in there, pop it back on, then you're fine. So be aware of that. It's just one of the side effects of having so many joints in a very tiny figure. But be aware of that ball joint. It's got to socket it back in. Then you'll have no problems. But anyways, back to those hands, I guess. This will take forever. Okay, I did it. It took me like a solid 3 minutes, maybe more than that. I wasn't really counting, but yeah, here he is with all 6 shooters, his 6 shooters, and everything seems to be holding in okay. He's a little spider-like now that I think about it, but let's try and go over articulation, which may take a little while, so sit nice and cozy for a second. We got that much down in the head, maybe best viewed from this side over here. Not much up, but he does have some mean-looking tilt and swivels. As for each set of arms, we'll go through this slowly. So he's got a ball and pin for each one, so he can do a swivel, and they should all be able to come out straight. As for elbows, at least on this one, hits past 90. All the trigger hands go down and up, and the rest of the others, being the grip and the open, are all in and out. Just looking over my little tin over there. Down here, I think all the arms are exactly the same, so we're not going to go into each and every single arm here. It does have a ball joint where the waistcoat ends, so you could do some forward, good amount back, some tilts, and an unhindered swivel because those holsters will move with him, so that's really nice. Oh, there goes that leg again. We'll leave that to the side for now. Just if you're being a little rough or you're going through all the joints like I am right now, then it might have a tendency to pop off, so just be wary of that. There is a swivel over here under the belt. Might be a ball joint. It is a ball joint, so you can rock that a little bit too. You can pair that with this joint so you can go a little further. As for at least one of the legs, you can kick that much forward, a little bit back. Personally, I wouldn't articulate them at all. I just leave him standing up straight so he can be supported weight-wise with all his many arms up here. As for knees, they go to about 90. They do have a swivel as well, though a little tight in there. As for the ankles, the feet, they go back, forward, and they have a rocker. So, very great if he could just stay in one piece. We'll socket this leg back on again. There we go. I'm in one piece again. Now, I'll have a little more fun playing around with those arms towards the conclusion of this video, but let's see how he is standing up, holding everything. Yeah, it looks like he can do it, so not too bad. Get a little bandana out of the way. And yeah, he can sit there, he can put his guns forward, and it feels like everything should be fine. Like, once he pulls up the legs, and you get him standing up nice once, then I think he could do whatever you want with the arms, and he just has enough weight down the center of him so that everything holds up. So, I don't know how it's working right now, but it's working, and I'm not going to question it. Good figure. I like him a lot. Now, for the big moment, we have Jester and 6-shooter next to all the other entries from NECA, from Puppet Master, being Blade and Torch, and also Pinhead and Tunneler. And they are an excellent looking sextet, I think. We got 6 of them right now. So, yeah, they all look fantastic. They're all excellently proportioned. The sizes and height differences seem right. The colors are fantastic. Their articulation is good. No real serious issues with any of these figures. I'm really happy to have them all, but again, we can keep asking for more. So I want Leech Woman, so wouldn't mind a Decapitron as well. There's also the Totems. There's also the ones from the Axis movies, which I don't prefer personally, but they're out there, and they will allow NECA to crank out some more puppets for us. But for now, as a base 6, they fit together to create a pretty cohesive band. I'm really happy to see all these guys together finally. To compare them with some other shorties from NECA, we have Sam from Trick or Treat, and also Chucky from the Chucky TV series. And lastly, of course, we have Star Wars The Black Series, Mecha Muck!
What's this? Some sort of crazy western stick-up? I'd rather fight someone my own size, thanks. It didn't mean like right now. I need time to prepare or something.
Now, as is commonplace for many of my reviews, as soon as they're about to end, my fridge starts getting really loud, so I apologize for that. But anyhow, as for these two figures, oh man, they are absolutely amazing, and I love them both dearly. For Jester, as he starts coming around over here, I really love how emotive and comedic he is. I think his personality is reflected extremely well through his accessories, and it's just really great to have him either looking very menacing or looking very funny and silly. There's a lot of different options for Jester. And the same can be said about 6-shooter, who may be one of the most advanced figures NECA has ever done when you really think about it. Again, it's a very tiny figure with a ton of joints loaded into him. It's amazing that anybody has ever produced a 6-shooter representation in physical form that articulates this sharply, you know, aside from the many replicas and stuff like that that Full Moon has released. But the fact that we can get it at a 7-inch scale, where you can carry him in our pocket, and he's able to move at every single joint, at every single elbow, knee, and everything, that's really friggin' impressive. So just from a sheer engineering standpoint, he's maybe one of NECA's best. I don't think it can really be beat. Can you think of another character that would be more difficult to articulate in plastic form? Personally, I can't. This guy is really something special. And also, he can stand up, so that's pretty damn cool. So, that's about it. Really great set. I highly recommend them. I'd say they're a little pricey still. They usually hit the same ultimate pricing range, so I wish it was a tad lower. But then again, they come with all the joints. The paint apps are very good overall. All the accessories are there, so really can't complain about it. I'm very happy about them, and they match up with the other 4 figures just fine, and it can keep adding more. We definitely want more Puppet Master figures. I don't think anyone's going to ever want to put their foot down and say, no more of them, let's stop this. I think we want to have every single one of them, and I hope they do it, because it would be a really nice shelf to have that is just occupied by Puppet Master. That would be so cool. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, then please, as per usual, be sure to
Like, comment,
Ring the bell to be notified of our latest arrivals. And subscribe. This is the editor speaking, humbly reminding you to support the Pod Patreon in the description to guarantee new content every single week.
Thank you guys very much for watching. Rock on, and I will see you all later.